Today I want to show a couple of my key exercises that are your go-to to really help your posture and your strengthen your core and feel good in your back, basically. Just feel good. We call them our general spinal maneuvers. And the first one is very simple, and these were actually taught to us by Dr. Dennis Wogan when we were studying non-surgical scoliosis correction. And these are key things that are used for prevention for spinal problems. One of them, the first and simplest, and something you'll want to do every day, twice a day ideally, and even more if you need it or feel like you just like it because it feels so good. One thing I recommend is first thing in the morning, you go to get ready. Now I already have my shoes on, but you're sitting down to put your shoes and socks on. So as you're sitting, you're doing this. What do? You're in position. Anytime you're sitting, your hips are now in a nice straight position. So you bring your arms up and see how my head is straight here with my arms. And now I rotate. That's why they're called spinal rotations. I turn and I turn. And I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, I would do 25 of them is what I recommend. Or if you want to count really fast and be one of those overachievers, you could go like 1, 2, 3, 4. But it's not about going so fast. And you're going to notice that after you've done probably about the first 10, you're going to hear all kinds of little lubrications and things. You're literally softening. You're not shearing. It's actually very hydrating to the disc. And after that, now you're fresh, you're on your day, you can get up and go about your day. Now say at the end of the day you've been working hard, you've either been sitting at your desk long or you've been having to be on your feet all day. Now that you come home, you're ready to take your shoes and socks off. So after take your shoes off, what do? We're assumed position again, we're sitting. Now I can remember, get in the habit to do my spinal rotations. And you notice that my hips, you always do it sitting down. When you're doing spinal rotation standing, your hips will sway with you and it actually creates more of a shearing and damaging. In fact, a lot of times people say, I kind of do that naturally. No, that's not actually a good position. You want these hips nice and solid. So then that way, it's only your spine that you've got your sit bones, you're sitting on your sit bones, and so you're just working on the spine and all your muscles through this area. And the reason your head follows your shoulder is so it doesn't interfere with your neck and your neck curve. Remember, we have 2 curves on our spine that we really want to keep. That's our neck curve and our lumbar curve, because they are what gives us our motion and our action. That's why we can bend, is because we have this curve. When you lose this curve here, you will not be bending. You will be the stick. And same goes with the neck. They even call it military neck. For when your neck is so straightened, you've literally lost your curve. And so now it can't turn very well. And to move, what happens then is you start developing instead of moving with your neck, you end up moving your whole body. Now you're putting strain in here. That's where now you'll start to see people with their head down like this. What do you notice? Now their back is start curving. That's why we take it to the next level and we go for the next exercise. Is called a cervical extension. Now, just as a close-up to show you an idea, because these are isometric exercises. Isometric means we're going to isolate just certain engagement of the muscles. So that as you're noticing, as we're going to be doing, I'm going to be pushing and pulling at the same time. So I'm giving my body its own resistance. So what I'm going to do is I'm sitting, I put my hands, I probably should have been in a chair to demonstrate that. here, I'll be just sitting here in the stool so you can see a side view, is that you clasp your hands behind your head. So you're like this. Now I've got my head here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my head like I'm with my arms. I'm pulling my arms in, but I'm pushing my head back into there. So I'm like, if you look into my neck, it's very strengthening. So I'm holding my head in and I'm giving it resistance, and then I'm pushing my head back, push, 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 only curving, bringing my neck back, still resisting with my arms. Hold to the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Wow, you will notice it. So once again, arms behind the head. So it's just in the behind the head to give you your resistance. And then your head muscles, you're engaging these masseter muscles here to push back in. And you're pushing your neck in, and you're basically kind of giving a little war. You're going back, 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 come all the way back. And you're still resisting. You're not just, let me show you the difference if you're doing it incorrectly. This would not be correct, is you just go about like that. That is not correct. This is where you're actually resisting with your, bringing your arm pressure in, and you're going 1, 2. You can feel it go up, up, 1, and count to 5, and come forward. So that's the cervical extension. Now, the next cervical move that is taught, which is actually, I missaid that, lumbar. And the lumbar is where you're taking it, you're going to, let me show you the picture so you can see what we're going to do. Here I am sitting. And then I'm going to create once again, isometric. It's called push and pull. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands on my legs and I'm going to push back as I'm trying to push forward. So it's like push, I'm not just pushing back like this, I'm bringing my body to come forward. So as I'm pushing with my arms as I'm going back, and I'm trying to, like, kind of part of me is pushing forward. It's almost like a war between which one's going to win. And then you hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. So it's not just like, oh, I'm going to stretch like that. That feels so good. This is actually a strengthening. In fact, I like to show people, this is so great for when you're at the desk. If you take a moment here, see the point of this, you're grasping your knees, you're pushing back. Now you're creating this curve in the back. And what did I say earlier about the curve in our neck? And then you've got the curve in there and you're feeling it extend because you're pushing. Why? Because you're engaging all these shoulder and these pec muscles as you're pushing against it. So it's not just like a stretching back, you're actually creating a strengthening on that. And what I like to show people is if you actually look at this position here, it actually is the same as many people call this the cat-cow type thing of where you have in yoga where you bend out. Look at how it has the curve there in the neck. Almost looks very similar, but this one you're on your knees. So with this, you would go, and many people, if you've had yoga class, you probably already you have done this. This is why it shows it so good, is that I'm going to do it here on this table, but you can do it on the floor. And so as you take your hands, you're nice, your back is here, you're not like leaning like this, but you're nice 90 degree. And then you're dropping the low back and pushing the head up. So you bring it in, drop the low back. Now as you bring the head in, you're curving the low back. Count and the same, and back. So when you bring in the curve of the back, then you bring up the curve of the neck. And then when you stretch it out the other way, you know, this is intuitively done. You'll see any of you that have had your pets, your dogs or cats, you'll see when they get up from their nap, they naturally kind of stretch out and contract, but they do that naturally to engage everything and wake up all their nervous system. Now, this next one is very, very good for the low back. Great strengthening for the core. And I've had many persons say that they have back pain between the chiropractic adjustments and doing this exercise, these few exercises, has made a world of difference where it never came back. It just does not come back if you keep up with this. And this is what this is. You go on your hands and knees, and what you're going to do, I'm first going to show you the incorrect way. Incorrect way is kind of like where they just kind of like throw the leg up and see how the leg is way up and, oh yeah, I'm up here. No, what you want to do is pretend that you have a plate literally right here on your back and you cannot spill it, a bowl of water or something. And so when you lift your leg up, you're keeping it nice and even. So I'm not tilting my hip. And then, if you really want to get, after you feel comfortable with that, you can bring up your other arm so that you have a nice balance there. So then you would do the same thing with your other side. So once again, and you're going to find you're going to have a favorite side because we all favor a side when we're standing, when we're moving, which step, which leg, same thing. So bring up, have your other leg up. Get your position, holding it, keeping yourself there. I'm making sure I'm balanced. That's where your engagement is. And then having yourself with your leg and your foot up. And that knee is my problem knee. I honestly say I have a problem because I have an implant in my left knee. So that's why I do it on cushion, any kind of pressure on that knee, that implant. I do have a challenge. I usually use another pad. But anyway, I wanted to show you the importance of these. There's the leg extension. That's what we did here. This is the advanced one. And then also this is for the lumbar spine, posterior lumbar. Then when you're all done and you just got warm fuzzies and feeling all good because you exercised, give yourself a time to really support in its proper position. We have our two curves, our curve for our neck and our curve for our low back. So you would have a nice roll and give yourself a few minutes. This is here something I wanted to show you. When you fold a towel, you can use it just as a regular rolled towel. But if you want to get and support your low back, but here's a little trick. This is actually on the paper that we hand out to everyone from this studies in this university, is that instead of just taking the traditional way where you maybe are just rolling it like this, well, now you've got it where it's a little more hard on your spine this way. So what you can do is you literally fold it half this way, get it nice and half. Now, so you've got the crease in the middle. Now roll it up. I like to use rubber bands so that I don't have to do it every time, so it just stays that way. And now look at this. Now I've got this nice little curve here so that when I choose to lay back on it and relax and put my low back into its nice position, and I would have another towel actually here, or I just happen to have a nice roll. And I would lay back and allow myself to have this. This is a great, if you like, for breathing exercises, visualization, if you enjoy meditation, just lay back while you have this nice little even using a cold pack. You have your towel roll here, you have your towel roll here. Now your body has been all hydrated and all limber, and now you can actually let it put in shape. You shape it and remind it with its beautiful curves that we have that helps us stay so agile and able to just keep up with our health. Now, that's what I want to share with you today. Those are our general spinal maneuvers, the rotation, the cervical extension, the lumbar extension, and the leg extension and the posterior 5, and that was the one that where you like the cat in yoga. So that's it. Practice. If you have any questions, reach out to us and we'll make sure I'll be happy to review them with you. And they will start making a huge difference. And start doing your rotations and you will immediately start feeling different. Saved many a camping trip for sure. Okay, till next time. See you then.